And then they also cited the excited delirium and mitragynine, which is kratom. And since then, they found out actually that he didn't have detectable kratom in his body, and excited delirium isn't being recognized by the pathologist. So now we're sitting here 3 years later, like, well, that needs to be reinvestigated.
What does it mean to your family that at the end of this inquest, your brother's death was determined to be a homicide?
Well, that felt validating, because we were sitting there listening to all of these essentially lies by by 13 officers, and I thought, these are lies. Is anyone else realizing this? And obviously, the jury did realize that, because they ruled it a homicide. They could have said it was accidental, but they called it homicide. So that felt like a big validation for us.
Your brother, and this is difficult to say, but your brother suffered horrific injuries in this encounter with the police. What was the original explanation as to why charges weren't laid against the officers involved?
Well, like I said, they said that the accounts were incomplete, inconsistent. They didn't actually have a cause of death. It's all still very confusing to me, because the pathologist has come forward and said that this happened by police force and holding him down to the ground so he couldn't breathe. So I'm like, surely this needs to be reinvestigated. Now that, like, excited delirium is not a cause of death.
Let me ask you about that, because the pathologist reversed his opinion on that. There was a statement that was released in December of 2020 by the prosecution service that cites the forensic pathologist finding that your brother's death was caused by factors unrelated to the use of police force, but mentions this condition known as excited delirium as a cause. At that point, what did that phrase mean to you? Did you know anything about what excited delirium was?
Well, I'm a psychiatric nurse, so I've heard of it. I mean, it's not medically recognized. It's not in the DSM, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So when they threw that out there, I thought, of course they did. It's just a blanket term used for deaths in police brutality. And when they threw that out there, I thought, this is just such a cover-up. And that's what we were left with. So I'm really just hopeful that now that he's saying that that is off the table, well, let's reopen this. Let's get some criminal charges.
It was also cited that notion of excited delirium by the officer